So I'm going to show you a couple of things we can do to make this milling thing a little bit more systematic. So this is what I'm going to try to make. 3.625 by 3.564. I'm going to have a 0.5 by 0.5 cutout on each edge with a 25 millimeter cutter. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a skim cut along here and then figure out from my tool center over to there to the center. I'm going to figure out that dimension once I've made a skim cut. And then to get to this dimension, I'm going to add 0.5. So I make a very light skim cut. From there, I'm going to add 0.5. But then I've got to figure out how to get this 3.625. Okay, so how will I do that? How am I going to get 3.625? Okay, depending on my cutter size, which I'm probably going to use this cutter, so that's going to be 12.5 millimeters. I wonder what 12.5 millimeters is. 12.5, oops. There's 25.4 millimeters in an inch, right? So 12.5 0.492. So this distance here is 0.492. So I have to move this 0.492 plus 3.625 to get this cut. Okay, so what is that going to be? I know where my tool center is. And I know this distance, 0.492 plus 3.625, and this is going to be another 0.492. So I'm going to take, you know what, I'm going to take one of these away really quick. I'm not going to worry about this one just yet. I'll do that one later on. Let's get this one squared away first. Half of this cutter is 0.492. So I can figure this out. I know where this is after my skim cut. Just barely skimmed this off. If I move over my tool center 0.492 plus 3.625 plus another 0.492, I'll be in just the right spot to cut that. So the question is, I need to record that number after I do my skim cut. Okay, so what's the order? Skim cut. I'm going to do it this way. I think it'll work better. 1. Skim cut. 2. Record X center dimension. 3. Add 1/2 tool diameter. Add the dim that I want. Add 1/2 tool diameter. Move the tool center to that X dim. That tells me what to do. And I've chosen my tool diameter by this. Okay, 1/2 of the tool diameter. I'm going to use the 0.984 tool diameter. So 0.492 is 1/2 of my tool diameter. So this picture hopefully can do it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to move over, do a skim cut, do my calculations and move over and do my final cut. Okay, so move over, skim cut, move over, final cut. Let's see if I can do that. So I'm going to pick my large diameter, 25 millimeter. I'm going to move it down to here. My 0 is set. It's okay right where it is. I'm going to really get this down so I can do a really skim cut. That looks like it'll just barely do a skim cut. Use my arrow key to get it down so I can just be sure that I can just barely get in a skim cut. Bake. There. That's barely going to take any material off. Going to turn my power on, get going as fast as I can, and ready for my skim cut. There I go. And I know it'll take a little while, but that's okay. Should be able to get this right. Now, the reason I'm going over to the other side to get my final cut is that ensures that my block is square or those two sides are parallel if I was running this on a real machine. You know, we put this on and it just looks parallel. It's okay. But a real part may not be that way. A real part may be not square. So this is called a squaring cut, a skim cut, and then your final cut on the other side squares up the part. Okay, so I've almost run that set. And I have to get high enough. There we go. So I'm there. Now I have to turn off my power or I'll cut through there. So I'm going to fast travel now. So now, what did I need? 3.3937. 0.3937 plus 0.492 plus 3.625 plus 0.492. Okay. Time for my calculator. Clear. 0.3937, 0.3937 plus 0.492, 0.492 plus 3.625, 3.625 plus 0.492, 492 equals. I have to go to 5.0027, 5.0027. That's what I want, this number right here, 5.0027. Right, here I go, 5.0027. I'm going to slow down that travel. Oh, too much. Five point oh oh 27. That's pretty close. Get up and out of the way. 5.002. Do you think I can get? I think I'm going to have to turn that down just a little bit slower. Well, that's pretty close. We'll see how I do. So I'm going to turn my power on, crank up my travel speed, and cut. We'll see how I did. Measure this in a moment. See. Okay, so my green dot, my center point was just chosen at random. That's actually how it is. You never can tell where you put your machine. We'll go over that later on. That's called tooling. If you have things that help you set up your part on the machine so that you don't have to do all of this work, it's called tooling. We're not going to use tooling yet until we can figure out how to do this stuff. Okay. Looks like I'm taking a pretty big chunk. Let's see how it goes. I'm almost done and I'm almost ready to measure. Okay, so I'm done. My best practice is I'm going to turn off my milling cutter. I'm going to measure my part. 3.614. And I was looking for 3.625. So I was off by a little bit. And that's kind of because of the way our mill cutter works and the way we've done the sim. Okay, I would have been a little bit close, 3.625. So I'm off by about 9,000ths of an inch. That's about right, because I can get within about 4,000ths of an inch on each cut when I do it. And that's just the precision of this simulator. So I came out pretty close. So now I have to do the same thing on my up and down. Okay, so let's see how I can do that on my up and down. I'm gonna think I can duplicate this. Okay. So now I'm gonna get rid of some of these things. I'm gonna get rid of that one and that one and that one, and I'm gonna erase some stuff, and I'm gonna get rid of this. Well, this is still okay. I'm just gonna go in the other direction. messed that up. Let me put that thing back in there. And now this, my first skim cut is going to be like this, and my second skim cut is going to be up here. See how that works? Let's see if we can figure this out. So now I'm going to do my first skim cut, and I'm going to figure out what that distance is. Okay, so that'll be my first skim cut. And then I know that it's going to be, how much is it? 0.492 to here, then 3.564, and another 0.492. And this time it's going to be not the X, but the Y. So I'll make my skim cut, figure out what this number is right here. That'll tell me where I am. And then the edge of my part is 492 away. And then I go up by my part. And then I go up another 0.492. And then I'll run my cut. Okay, let's see if I can do that. So now I need to, I'm in my fast travel. I need to move down. I'm going to come over here. And now I'll get my travel a little bit slower and see if I can just barely do a skim cut. There, that's going to just barely do a skim cut. So here I go. I'm going to move across and get my first skim cut. So I'm going to show you my where I put my dot is a little bit different, so I have to do my adding and subtracting just a little bit different, but you'll see how that goes. Because you'll see my Y says it's a minus number. Okay, so I've got my skim cut done. Turn off my power and come back. Okay, so I moved minus 1.3938. I moved minus 1.3938. Minus 1.3938. And then I'm going to go from there, I'm going to go up 0.492, up 3.564, up 0.492. Let me get my handy calculator out. Clear. Minus 1.3938 plus 0.492 plus 3.564 plus 0.492. I want to go to 3.1542. 3.1542. 0.42. Let me get out of the way. Point. Almost there. 1, 5, 1, 7. That's pretty close. I'm going to call that close. Excuse me. So let me run my skim cut. Again, you can see, right? It's not perfect because this isn't really round, but I'm going to be awfully close. So I've powered on. I come across. Getting close. Okay, 3.1517 all the way across. I'm going to turn off my power. I'm going to measure that. 3.5525. So I'm about 9 thousandths under here too, right? 3.56. So I've in both cases I cut just a little bit too much, and that's just due to errors in how I'm able to cut and measure. But not bad. I'm pretty close. 3.564. 3.564 minus 3.55. What is it? 3.5525. 525. About 10 thousandths of an inch off. Okay, so I didn't do too bad. Now, I've got to figure out where to go with this one. Again, right? So I need to come back to here. 0.3937 plus 0.5. Okay, so I'll do that. I'll run it over to there, and then I'll run it down another 0.5. Okay, so what's the number I'm shooting for here? 0.3937 plus 0.492 plus 0.5. That'll get this edge right here. 0.3937 plus 0.492 plus 0.5. 0.3937 plus 0.492 plus 0.5. 1.3857. Looks like I'm off somehow. That looks too. That could be 1.38. I might have to take a little bit more than 1.38. That's pretty close. I'm going to call that pretty good. And I'm going to come down 0.5 from where I am. 3.1517 minus 0.5. 3.1517 minus 0.5. So I'm going to go down to 2.6517. 2.6517. 2.6517. That's my target. And this is 1.3851, I think. Okay, here I go. I'm gonna power on. This one's a little bit harder now. 2.6517. Now I'm getting a little worried. I'm going to slow this baby down. Oh, I got right on it. It looks like I've got something wrong. I think I'd made a mistake on where I was because I think I came in too far there. I should have come in. That was supposed to come in half. Did I come down half an inch? I don't think so. So I'll have to take a look and see what I looked at on that. Okay, because that looks like I should go down a little farther on that. Okay, but we can put it back on. So that's how you do it. You just add and subtract your part. Okay, usually I work this all out, not on a Jamboard, but on a piece of paper. So I've really got it, and I take things a little bit closer wherever I was supposed to be here. I don't think I added all this up right. Bing, bing, bing. Okay. So there we go. That's how you get your cuts done. So that's what I'll be looking for to see that done. I can tell I need to go a little farther there, but that's okay. I'm pretty darn close. All right, there we go. How to add and subtract using your tool center to get where you should go to for your cuts.